This is a video that is currently making the rounds on social media in China. The woman in the video is surnamed Huang, who reported her ex-husband, Dr. Tong, for various misdeeds to the public.
I, Huang Wei, living in Wuhan City, am reporting that Tang Zhigang, the chief physician of the pancreatic surgery department of Wuhan University People's Hospital and a professor at Wuhan University, has been visiting prostitutes and keeping mistresses for many years. Moreover, he has been gambling all night long, neglecting his patient's surgery on the next day, and has been involved in a number of medical malpractice cases. He accepts medical kickbacks from pharmaceutical suppliers, engages in medical corruption, and receives red packets from patients and charges high-priced consultation fees.
Dr. Tong's workplace is a fairly renowned hospital in China. According to this woman, they divorced in 2019. During the marriage, the man visited prostitutes and kept mistresses for years, including attending footbath parlors, which are low-grade erotic places by the roadside. According to an audio recording released by Ms. Huang, one night after the doctor got off work, she asked him what he did that day. And to her surprise, the man confessed, without trying to hide anything, that he just visited prostitutes after work, and after that he went on a date with his old mistress. Moreover, Ms. Huang posted chat records between the two. They showed that the doctor gathered people to gamble during work hours, disregarding the surgery he had to perform the next day. His exhausted mental state due to staying up late led to several medical incidents. The ex-husband also took kickbacks from pharmaceutical sales representatives and often accepted red packets from patients' families. Apart from that, the doctor offered bribes to his peers and accepted bribes from them as well. He even made use of his work convenience to steal patients' personal information for profit, and so on. Ms. Huang revealed a screenshot of her ex-husband's WeChat payment record. It showed that the kickback given by the pharma representative was about US $670.
Bribing and accepting bribes among his peers, practicing corruption, stealing private medical information from hospital patients through unusual channels, and using it for his own personal gain, using his work time, neglecting his duty, and meeting his mistress, Miss Chen, in private. In view of the above problems, I have reported to his hospital and university in real name. What's even worse is that he is suspected of interfering with judicial justice, resulting in the judge in the first trial disregarded the facts, twisting the law in judgment. I have lodged an appeal to the higher court of the People's Republic of China and made a petition to reflect the situation in real name.
Some netizens consolidated the various pieces of evidence produced by Ms. Huang and did some analysis. They figured out that Dr. Tong worked as an outsourced specialist in one of the county hospitals in Wuhan, and he could easily get a basic salary of about US $3,500 by visiting the hospital for 4 days a month. With kickbacks from medicine purchases, red packets from patients, charging patients overpriced consultation fees, and working as an outsourced specialist at an outside hospital, this doctor was able to generate a monthly income of no less than US $14,000.
Moreover, this person is morally corrupt with no boundaries as a teacher and hides a lot of truth from me before marriage. Before the marriage, he hid many truth from me and deceived me into marrying him by putting on a false show of sincerity. After the marriage, he immediately played up and trashed all the promises he made before, cheated on me continuously during the marriage, and even threatened me to give up everything and agreed to divorce him by frequent domestic violence.
Ms. Huang said that when she was 4 months pregnant, the doctor abused her, resulting in her losing the baby. In addition, Ms. Huang reported other psychologically abnormal behavior by her ex-husband, which we won't go into detail due to its sensitive nature. On December 8, 2023, according to a media who contacted and reported on Ms. Huang in January 2019, she and Tong met on a dating site, and the two began living together in March. In early July, the two obtained a marriage license. But 4 days later, Ms. Huang filed for divorce after exchanging WeChat messages with the doctor. Ms. Wang said that before the marriage, the doctor signed a prenuptial agreement with her, agreeing that all the properties in his name would be the marital property of the two of them. It was a promise he made when he courted me, Ms. Wang said. Chinese people today aren't easily manipulated. They dug out Ms. Wang's posts on social media and speculated that Ms. Wang's complaint was likely related to a divorce settlement. The marriage between the two was likely a trap set by the woman for financial gain, which in turn brought about revenge from the man. After Ms. Wang's video was posted online, public opinion quickly spread, and the doctor's scheduled clinic appearance was cancelled. The People's Hospital of Wuhan University issued an announcement that Dr. Tong had divorced Ms. Wang, the publisher of the video, and the two parties are in the process of legal proceedings regarding the division of financial assets. Dr. Tong himself has reported the posting incident to the police. Our show isn't about digging into the details of this incident. In our opinion, such stories are a common occurrence in China's workplace and officialdom. Institutionalized corruption is now found everywhere. Financial corruption, university corruption, medical corruption, cultural corruption, sports corruption, you name it. Along with corruption, Chinese society is experiencing the fastest moral decline and the horrific disintegration of spirituality and faith never seen in history. China is facing its worst social and humanistic crisis. Against such a backdrop, many Chinese people feel that Dr. Tong's suspension may only be a break for a few days, and that once the winds have passed, everyone will naturally forget about the explosive whistleblowing video. On the Jihu website, netizens commented on this incident. Under extremely flimsy regulation and disciplinary supervision, even people with tiny power will make every effort to enrich themselves. Not to mention doctors and professors like Dr. Tong, who are well known in their professions. And so there have been a lot of hard-to-believe stories. Many people would never have been caught if they weren't backstabbed by their foolish wives, mistresses, or other family members with conflicts of interest. This individual describes his thoughts as toxic chicken soup. He wrote, "Take this incident as an example. Even if Dr. Tong really visited prostitutes, gambled, took kickbacks, and received red packets as his ex-wife claimed, she had known these a while ago. Why didn't she report it before? The reason is nothing more than that they used to be husband and wife, a unity of interest, and the money Tong embezzled benefited her as well. Only now that they are divorced, fighting each other over family assets, the unity of interest has fallen apart. The party who no longer receives benefits resorts to exposing the matter so that she can reap a little more benefits." Compared to the healthcare system, government officials have less specialized skills and technology, but the room for corruption is the largest. Let's take a look at the legitimate gifts that government officials receive in their day-to-day lives. This is a collector's edition of the watch used by the State Council General Office and a limited edition of the watch used by the General Office of the Central Committee of the CCP. These two organizations, one belongs to the government department, the other belongs to the party apparatus. When I first got this watch, I thought it was beautiful, but now it's not comparable to this new watch that I just got. This plastic film hasn't been removed. It looks more impressive when it's removed, and it's all diamonds. One is given to us in the summer, and one in the winter. They can't be compared to each other. One is from the State Council, one is from the office of the Central Committee of the Chinese Communist Party, limited edition. The grades aren't the same, the watches are different. The officialdom of the CCP is naturally the most corrupted, and the wives have now become the target of the party's correction program. In the year 2023, many governments in China have organized activities for wives to participate in the so-called Family Integrity Campaign. For example, on February 26, 2023, Hunan Province hosted a province-wide event on the theme of Families for Integrity. This model has been copied in virtually every city in the province for almost a year now. In Changsha, the main venue, nearly 130 spouses of departmental-level top officials from provincial authorities, state-owned enterprises, and universities were collectively educated on honest government. The wives of the officials were arranged to watch the educational movie Strict Family Culture. The secretary of the Hunan Provincial Commission for Discipline and Inspection advised nearly 130 wives of officials to make loyalty the soul of family culture, honesty the bottom line of family culture, frugality the root of family culture, and self-reliance the cornerstone of family culture. The report quoted Hunan provincial media as saying that 14 cities and prefectures, 122 counties and towns in the province have launched similar campaigns, while in a city in the western part of the province, more than 6,000 family members of government officials have signed family integrity pledges. One wonders how these ladies felt when they were educated in this way. They may be thinking, why don't they organize similar educational activities for their mistresses? In recent years, the Chinese have jokingly referred to 3 items such as home burglaries, lost diaries, and mistresses as the 3 most powerful tools in combating corruption. The combined roles played by mistresses in the internet have led to the multiplication of corruption cases. The web has enabled officials to publish posts on Weibo and mistresses to show off glamour photos, flaunt their wealth, and display evidence. The clean image that corrupt officials have carefully cultivated is easily shattered by their mistresses if not careful. Let's take a look at a notable case related to Alibaba. In July 2023, a Chinese court publicly pronounced the verdict in the case of a former secretary of the Hangzhou Municipal Party Committee. He was sentenced to death for accepting bribes with a 2-year reprieve. As the #1 man of power in Hangzhou, he illegally accepted property totaling more than RMB 182 million, or approximately US 25 million, either directly or through his relatives. How did such a big case come to the public's attention, a case where a government official took over US 25 million in bribes during his 20 years in the bureaucracy? According to Chinese media reports, the Central Commission for Discipline and Inspection had long noticed his corrupt behavior, but had no solid evidence. Just when the staff of the Discipline and Inspection Commission was at a loss over this, a report by Lawyer Hu in real name came to the rescue. Lawyer Hu is a prominent female lawyer in the Zhejiang region. After her divorce in 1974, Ms. Hu has evolved into an increasingly daring and pragmatic person. She picked out several corrupt officials and developed intimate relationships with them, weaving a vast safety net for herself. Zhou Jiangyang, the chief in Hangzhou, was the biggest fish in her group of boyfriends. The incident started when one of her boyfriends was arrested. Lawyer Hu realized that she was going to be implicated and her future might be ruined. So she decided to take advantage of the opportunity to report in real name and expose Zhou. She had hoped to get the credit of combating corruption and securing herself in exchange. Her real name report triggered an earthquake in Zhejiang officialdom. Several officials had no choice but to come forward and surrender themselves voluntarily in succession. For the biggest prize, Zhou Jiangyang, Ms. Hu, wrote a letter of nearly 10,000 words. The letter mentioned an incident that the listing plan of a fintech company in Zhejiang province in November 2020 was stopped in an emergency. In this incident, Hu and her team acted as agents for some clients and made a surprise share purchase before the listing, and were also involved in the aftermath when the IPO failed, which included some capital rearrangements. According to her report, Zhou Jiangyang's family spent RMB 500 million or US 70 million to buy shares in the company before it was officially listed, and were refunded US 72 million when it failed to go public. Later, Ant Group, formerly known as Ant Financial, is an affiliate company of the Chinese conglomerate Alibaba Group, whose head office is in Hangzhou, issued a solemn statement denying the existence of the online rumor that relevant people have shares in Ant Group. Later, Lawyer Hu was convicted of accepting bribes and sentenced to 5 years imprisonment with a fine of about US 40,000 and the revocation of her lawyer's license to practice law. Since a while ago, the Chinese have stopped applauding such anti-corruption efforts, fully aware that they live in a country that is corrupt beyond redemption.
买一个处级职位是要多少钱?
How much does it cost to buy a department-level government position? Two senior officials of the Inner Mongolia Public Security Bureau have made a clear offer. A chief of a traffic unit in a city in Inner Mongolia wanted to acquire a government position through bribes. Zhao Yunwei, deputy director of the Inner Mongolia Public Security Department, asked for 10 million yuan, or US 1.4 million. The chief of the traffic unit offered US 980,000. While the deputy director pocketed US 700,000, he gave the rest, US 280,000, to his peer, another official of the same department. This official, surnamed Ma, resented the lesser amount received and sent the chief of the traffic unit to an impoverished jurisdiction for appointment. Now this official, surnamed Ma, had his first trial yesterday. The details of paying for government positions were exposed from there. I checked. The chief of the traffic unit is usually at the division rank, and the next higher up is the deputy director level. In other words, in Inner Mongolia, the public security system at that time cost US 1.4 million to buy a government position at the deputy director level or a director level. If the post of a director costs US 1.4 million, not to mention the higher ranks, a senior official in Jiangsu province, Wang Liker, gave a gift of 90 million yuan. That is US 12.55 million to the vice minister of the Ministry of Public Security, Sung Li-jun. Senior government officials received millions or tens of millions of dollars from their subordinates just by paying lip service and promising them positions of certain ranks, all eventually developed into big tigers, namely CCP officials with massive power and wealth. As for the environment in which the officials are living, it is actually impossible for them not to turn bad. Look, this is a common KTV venue in China. When officials or businessmen visit it, in a room full of women, they pick and choose the so-called singers and playmates according to their own preference. In retrospect, the money Zhou, a corrupt official in Hangzhou, Zhejiang province, has earned over the past 20 years pales in comparison to that of other big-time corrupt officials. We previously reported on the story of a Shanghai woman who was in a car accident in Tibet, and whose family mobilized all public officials in the region of Ali, Tibet, to donate blood to save her life. This story pierces the hearts of many ordinary Chinese. People wonder how their country got to this point.
I said that Chinese chiefs think that by working hard to get into the civil service, they will be able to become superior and honor their ancestors. In fact, you're still only a moving blood bank. Some people say, when I become a civil servant, at least I have no worries about food and clothing. To be honest, I have been fighting for the rights of the people at the bottom of the ladder. I have been saying that if we are ordinary people, most of our children will be ordinary. Don't try to live the life of an upper-class person, because you're not on the list of the privileged. Even if you're on the list of the privileged, can you pass on your red kingdom from generation to generation? This time, concerning the story of the sister of blood transfusion, I'm not surprised if tens of thousands of milliliters of blood were collected, not to mention that several thousands of milliliters of blood. Because if you look at the posts of the second-generation officials on the web, you will know how big the difference is between the privileged class and you. Don't try to live that kind of life, because when you are born without, you are destined to be without. You actually have to thank the sister of blood transfusion. Why? Because she was just short on blood. Honestly, if she was short on organs, you could have been harvested alive if you were a match. Do you believe that? Actually, I have never been able to understand the people in our country. People envy the good life of those civil servants, but people seldom think about improving the life of ordinary people. You are not on the list of free healthcare and free education. You don't think about fighting for the rights of ordinary people so that they can enjoy these rights. But you think, I gotta find a way to squeeze into these lists. What kind of wolf culture is this? Why is the law of the jungle so prevalent in China?
What this woman said reflects the confusion of many Chinese people. Why is the wolf culture and the jungle rule prevalent in Chinese society? We have observed that this is the intentional design of the CCP. In its early years of power, the CCP used the struggle or conflict theory to destroy the conscience and humanity of Chinese people. The philosophy of struggle and conflict, the theory of revolution, the theory of class struggle, the theory of political movement, etc. They don't teach the society the spirit of chivalry as in the West, but rather compete and fight without morality or reasoning. It's essentially a competition of who is more ruthless, unethical, and vicious. In the 1980s, under the slogan of reform and opening up, the CCP took materialism to an extreme. In widely publicized statements such as be it black cat or white cat, it's a good cat when catching a mouse, or make lots of money quietly, it aligns with the struggle theory. Universal values, morality and conscience, honesty and commitment, and the rule of law are excluded from consideration, and reach and results overrides everything. As a result, a new round of struggle has begun in China. Everyone is striving to be better or more superior than others, by hook or by crook. After 40 years, the consequence of preaching such values and logic has turned the Chinese society to become grossly power-oriented, with great disparity in wealth and polarization of society accompanied by prevalent corruption and social values and chaos. The Chinese people who are preoccupied with survival in an increasingly diminished space have no time to think about human nature, morality, justice, and freedom. As a result, the soil of goodwill no longer exists, and the hotbeds of malice grow wild.